Welcome back to Living East Tennessee. Well, diabetes has become the fastest growing chronic disease in the world. And here to share more on how to look out for symptoms and how to prevent it is Kaitlyn Sims from Summit Medical Group. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you're a nurse practitioner here in Knoxville locally.
Yes.
Talk about what you've seen, the impact of diabetes in the East Tennessee region in particular.
Yeah, so diabetes is definitely becoming more prevalent, especially in younger people. So you've got type 1 diabetes, which is essentially where the pancreas is not producing any insulin. And then you've got type 2 diabetes, which is where the pancreas is making insulin, just not enough or it's not efficient enough for the body to use it. So
what are some of those prevention measures that people can take to prevent that? And I know that there's so many different ways in that people can, like gestational diabetes. That's one thing I hear quite a bit of, but what are some of those prevention measures?
Yeah, so I like to use the ABCs of diabetes. So A stands for A1C, which is a blood test that we use to kind of figure out what your average blood sugar is. B stands for blood pressure. So you want to make sure that your blood pressure is under control, and if you have high blood pressure, that it's treated. And then C stands for cholesterol. You want to make sure that your cholesterol is under control as well. Those are 3 things that you can do for prevention.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know it can be hereditary as well. Is that correct?
It can run in families, yes.
And how would you know that? If what would be some of those symptoms that you might experience through diabetes?
So a lot of people, especially people who have pre-diabetes, don't have any symptoms. 1 in 3 people who have pre-diabetes, 80% of them don't know that they have it. But what you might experience is being super thirsty, having an increased appetite, noticing that you're having to get up during the night to urinate a lot more frequently, feeling really tired, having unintentional weight loss, having more frequent infections.
That is so interesting. So how would you go about if you have these symptoms or know a loved one that has these symptoms and you're thinking, that could be it? What's the first step to take?
Definitely go see your provider. You want to go and have a visit and have your lab work done and get those things checked, because that's ultimately how it's going to be diagnosed. And the earlier that we catch it, you know, we can prevent it, we can treat it, and prevent complications later on down the road.
And luckily for East Tennesseans, you guys are actually accepting new patients right now as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And so tell me about your practice.
So I practice in Lenoir City, and we are internal medicine, so we're kind of able to see you for all of your primary care needs.
That is absolutely wonderful. It is really tough to find a primary care doctor these days, for sure. And with diabetes in particular, we kind of touched on it a little bit, kiddos. How could you look for symptoms in kiddos?
Yeah, I would say that children are more likely to be diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, since basically it's the body's, immune system attacking those insulin-producing cells. And so we do see more children being diagnosed with type 1, but we're also seeing some children being diagnosed with type 2 because of obesity. So kind of those same symptoms, the being really thirsty, hungry, having to urinate more, unintentional weight loss, kind of failure to thrive.
Absolutely. And are there any prevention measures that you would recommend for kids as well?
Just making sure that the kiddos are, eating well, a well-balanced diet, plenty of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, avoiding a lot of carbohydrates, the sugary sweet things, a lot of fast food, making sure that kids are staying active and exercising and not being too sedentary with video games and TV and things like that.
I love that. Where can people get in touch with you guys, and what's that phone number and address for you?
865-986-3283. And we are in Lenoir City on Highway 321.
Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me today and educating us a little bit on this disease that's just spreading a lot through the United States. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Alrighty, you guys, we'll be right back.